Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we are discussing the minute repeater of alarm watches. It's the Ulysse Nardin Sonata Cathedral, 41.5 millimeters in 18 karat white gold. You can see and purchase this incredible 24-hour countdown format alarm with dual time capability on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Ulysse Nardin Sonata Cathedral. The original Sonata bowed in late 2003, and by late 2005 we were already talking about its successor, whereas the original Sonata featured a peerless combination of musical paced chimes and a sophisticated 24-hour countdown format alarm setting device. The Sonata Cathedral took the paced regulated chimes of the original, which featured a gorgeous minute repeater style governor, and combined them with a minute repeater style cathedral gong apparatus to create a more sonorous tone with greater sustain and volume. This is the watch that resulted, and of course, since I've tempted you and I've baited you and I've brought you this far, I may as well show you, or let you hear, I should say, precisely what I mean. You'll note the minute repeater style governor on the dial side that paces the chimes to maintain a leisurely cadence so you can appreciate the ring, sustain, and volume of each one. And then there is a minute repeater style striker and a cathedral gong that runs 1.5 times around the UN caliber 67 to produce that wonderful melodious music. Now let's put the watch on the wrist. I promised you that this would be an unconventional review in some respects, and of course, starting with the sound and following with the fit is a little bit non-standard, but the watch deserves it. This is a special piece. The Sonata is a tweener fit, which is to say it's somewhere between 41 and 42 millimeters in diameter. Because of the unconventional shape of the case, which features a crown on both sides, 9 and 3, as well as guards and pusher adjusters for the GMT function, I would even say that the watch should be considered something of a 42.5, maybe a 43, as it wears lengthwise down the wrist. Now in terms of thickness, you can see that the dramatic concave profile of the bezel will help it slip underneath a suit jacket or a sport jacket cuff, but it's probably a little bit too thick at 13.6 millimeters with a ton of apparatus sticking out on the 9 o'clock side to clear the tightest of French cuffs. That said, it is perhaps surprising in the slope of its profile, and it just might make it underneath a tight sleeve. From lug to lug, the watch is substantial, 50 millimeters on the nose, which is usually the upper threshold for fitting well on smaller wrists, which I've always defined as approximately 14 centimeters in circumference to roughly the 16 to 16.5 centimeter circumference of my wrist. So you can see the watch sits well. It does have bolstered strap profiles as well as conforming end pieces that contribute a little bit to the flare of the strap out over the wrist. You can't pull it straight down. It's got a little bit of arc that's insistent and asserts itself. That said, I would never classify this watch as a oversized timepiece, even though it's clearly bigger than its rated size. I do believe down to a wrist as small as about 14 centimeters in circumference, you're going to wear it just fine on this strap. Now the timepiece has immense heft, partly because the case is deep and partly because the lugs are so substantial. It's rather remarkable, now that the watch is off the wrist, we can get a little bit closer and focus in, but it's rather remarkable to have a timepiece that is this size and yet this heavy at the same time. Part of it's the substance of the case and the substance of the strap. The strap is massive, dark navy, and you can see with bolstering down the center, folded edges, monotone stitch, calf skin on the underside, a clasp to match, and a big white gold clasp of substantial heft, nicely made, fully polished inside and out with twin trigger action so it can't accidentally pop open. A substantial watch in every respect. It has that distinctive Ulysse Nardin styling. Perhaps more flourishes than necessary, but this is a special watch deserving of them. You'll even note the beautiful lacquered and capped crown. Beautifully polished, all of white gold. The dial is decidedly more complex than the case form, and the case form is anything but minimalist. You'll note multiple planes, textures, materials, and colors. Let's make sense of it. At 9 o'clock, you can see the on-off switch, or I should say on-off indicator for the alarm. Just beneath, we'll work our way counterclockwise, is the regulator mechanism with its bridge for the chiming. Right next to that is a second time zone in 24-hour format. I'll show you how to set that in a moment. You'll note there is a double-digit date, and significantly, the double-digit date features a bidirectional quickset mechanism, so you can set it in both directions using the crown at 9 o'clock. The crown at 9 o'clock also controls the alarm functions. Now moving on, you'll note that the hands at center have a remarkably vivid and unconventional set of color and form about them. Yellow and blue, fully skeletonized, shaped almost like extended bows. They are loomed, and this watch can be seen in the dark, so yes, there will be a loom shot at the end of this video. Now the hands can be set two different ways. First, there are the GMT adjusters on the flanks of the case. You can see them at 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, respectively, and the date will be driven by that system. So should you prefer to jump time zones, and you can set as you jump time zones, you can set the date in either direction using the pusher adjusters with no hazard to the movement as you cross the international date line east or west. Now the crown at 3 o'clock has two functions. When you pull it to its intermediate stop, you set everything in sync. Now you'll note that the time you've set on the alarm dial doesn't change, but the countdown format dial does. And what's happening here is the countdown is drawing closer and closer to 0, that is 0 hours till the alarm sounds, as I set the watch closer and closer to the time set on the alarm dial. That's how the countdown format works. That's one way the countdown format can work. Now there's another way. When I pull the crown all the way out, now I can adjust both the countdown and the time I've set for the alarm. Note that the countdown always reads a 24-hour scale, so it knows the difference, for example, between 12 o'clock midday and 12 o'clock midnight. It might read 12 in either case on the alarm dial, but look at the countdown to know what the watch is interpreting as the time to which you set the alarm, and I'll demonstrate exactly what I mean. When I set the watch alarm to 12 o'clock, I don't know whether that's 12 a.m. or 12 p.m., but I look at the countdown dial, and now I know it's 12 p.m. Now, there's another function to this crown that's not a setting function, but absolutely critical to the function of the watch. When you turn it in a clockwise direction, you wind the watch. When you turn it in a counterclockwise direction, you wind the alarm. Winding it in the clockwise direction to wind the watch, you cannot overwind the watch. It's a bridle style mainspring. You'll wind it up to 42 hours of power reserve, and then the bridle will simply slip in the mainspring barrel. You can't break it. Now when you're winding counterclockwise, you will eventually reach the end of the strike barrel's travel. It's not a bridle style mainspring. You can overwind by forcing it counterclockwise. So wait to feel the resistance rise up, and when you do, stop. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the watch inside. This is the UN Caliber 67. Remarkably sophisticated. It pivots on 109 joules. This is a high horology engine of the highest degree. It features a wonderful rusticated 22 karat gold, white gold winding rotor with a beautiful lacquered Ulysse Nardin inset anchor. Ceramic rotor bearings at center. It is a bidirectional winding movement. It cannot wind its own alarm complication. It can only wind the functions that tell the time of day. So you have to be certain to manual wind the alarm before you attempt to use it. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and although most of the finish is mechanically applied, it is applied to a very high standard. And thanks to a high-grade balance and Edicron adjustment mechanism, it can keep exceptional time when properly regulated. Although it is a little bit of a sporty watch, it is not a sports watch. As you'll note, the caseback and the crown seals assure only 30 meters of water resistance, but then you're not going to take this one diving, ice spelunking, or even skydiving for that matter. This is a watch that has a raffish flair about it. Stylish, sporty, unconventional. Beautiful to the eye, beautiful to the ear, and singular in the alarm watch space, this might be the finest alarm watch money can buy. See it and decide for yourself on our website. And we're looking at the Ulysse Nardin Sonata Cathedral. As you can see, those crazy bow-shaped yellow hands look far more conventional at night. See them in their full glory by the light of day on our website.